Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we got some pretty fun news to go and talk about. Now, as you guys probably know, Sony, PlayStation, all them good old boys usually do have the occasional shareholders meeting. And what this means is people have a chance to talk about like earnings, what's going on with the stock, the company, the products, all of that stuff in between. And we now actually have the access to go and talk about that. And I want to go talk about some of the bigger things going on here with the PlayStation, the ecosystem, and Sony itself as a whole. So far, it does actually seem like the first glance and impressions went overall pretty good. Stock market, at least on what I'm seeing right now as I'm filming this video, overall seems relatively okay. And at the end of the day, it does kind of seem like PlayStation as a whole is not as big of a powerhouse as it was a few years back with it selling like 80 million consoles, but it is doing pretty well. So I'm going to go talk about the numbers that came out, statistics, what I think, and everything else. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. And I appreciate you guys all very, very much for following and watching and all that. We also have the target links to check out the target links for the summer holiday sales. And let's go and dive on into the stream. I always said stream, we were doing YouTube. Like, this is what I get. This is what I get. Anyway, follow this way if you guys want. So, as I mentioned, we are now seeing some pretty big sales numbers, a lot of big things when it comes from Sony from their profit things. I also have my little sock over here down below too as well. So, what we first and foremost found out is that PlayStation had a brand new sales number. Right this second, seems that the PlayStation 5 has now hit 61 million users, like basically people with consoles, as Sony's year-on-year Q1 hardware sales fall, but operating income has also rised. So right this second is kind of maybe good, maybe bad. I'm not really sure. But basically the console itself is not making as much money. The hardware sales, people aren't really buying as many consoles. But if we look at the overall market, look at the Xbox, look at like the Switch, everything is free falling. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've had a chance to sell 61 million consoles so far, which is great. Xbox is around like, let's go and say around 30 million. We're seeing the numbers being a lot more hit on the Xbox and Switch as of right this second. But it's kind of like a lot of people who had the disposable income, wanted to buy them. Maybe some people were in for the PS5 Pro. There hasn't been a big major game to kind of be like, oh my God, I can't wait to play God of War Ragnarok. Xbox, same thing. They have Game Pass, PC, crossover, Switch, waiting for the Switch 2. Like, it makes sense. We might do a little bit of an in-depth video at some point with that, but it makes sense. But yeah, it is a little bit slower than anticipated. But the one big thing is the operating income has been rising. As I'm sure you guys have had a chance to see, we've seen a lot of layoffs, some games getting shut down, which is not good for us as consumers and us as general people, but it is a nice vibe to go and see that, like, how do I word it? It's just nice that at least it's being profitable or not being near bankruptcy. Now, would I rather them spend a little bit of money and keep games coming and maybe take some more chances? Yes. Sony, please. Like, give us something new. I don't want to play The Last of Us Part 3. I mean, I do, but like I don't. You know what I mean? But either way, let's go talk about it. So the company is also now forecasting a slightly better fiscal year of this year. And if you guys ever want to even look at some of these statistics too, like they have like the high level stuff. Basically, Sony did a fiscal quarterly profit of $1.49 billion, which is great on a per share basis. They said they had a net income of $1.22. So good. They also did go and actually beat their expectations as well. Their overall expectation was a 111 per share. They made a pretty good income, so the stock's been doing kind of good and probably will be doing good as of now. I'm making this video a little bit right before opening and scheduling later on, but whatever. And of course, they also posted $19.32 billion throughout that period. So very nice to see on the high level stuff. But back on the PlayStation, as I mentioned, they've had a relatively quiet 3-month period, and depending on how I title this video, because I'm not really sure where to go and take this, it is a little bit concerning that PlayStation 5 hardware is slowing down, but it is still good that the install base is there. It's bigger than Xbox, it's selling well, and at the end of the day, they're going to have future software in the future to make more money. So basically, in Sony's latest financial results covering the Q1 period for its financial year of 2024, the period between April 1st and June 30th, the company says 2.4 million PS5 consoles were sold. This is down on the 3.3 million PS5 consoles sold during the Q1 period last year, but nevertheless brings the total number of PS5 sales to date up to 61.7 million. So up to almost 62 million. The results were generally positive for Sony's gaming division overall, with Q1 sales in the games and network services segment up 12% year on year, and operating income up 32%, that's big. So from $335 million to $443 million, and that's a big number to look at. In its summary, Sony attributes the year-on-year increase to the impact of foreign exchange rates. So the increase in sales of first-party game software titles and the increase in sales from network services, mainly from PlayStation Plus. So all these outside sources making things a lot easier. However, it does acknowledge a decrease in sales of hardware due to a decrease in unit sales. So it kind of seems like the hardware's not doing good. But the software is also doing okay-ish. Like, it's kind of all over the place. And I do want to say, I think the biggest thing that we've noted is probably they cut a lot of jobs. They stopped a lot of big projects. And at the end of the day, I don't know. It's like that probably just is the end all be all. So either way, they do have a lot of exchange rates. Very intriguingly enough, the exchange rates have actually been really nice. It's also a big factor too, because think the USD and a lot of people are buying the PlayStation, buying PlayStation games in America. That means that the yen, which don't forget Sony's more of like a Japanese-based type style company, so the yen does matter. That means that they're also making extra money on that. So, you know, I'm sure you guys have heard, I even made a video on it, Japan's economy has been kind of really bad. A little bit better now, but they've had like their currency get really weak and their stock market's been really rough and the long-term expectation for them is rough. So the USD in theory is a stronger currency. So if people are buying things in USD, aka us Americans, and you probably watch this video, that's helping their overall company profits, which is nice. So in its summary, Sony attributes the year-on-year increase to the impact of foreign exchange rates, as I mentioned, the increase in sales of first-party game software titles, and the increase in sales from network services. So PlayStation Plus price increases going up, auto renewals, more people may be joining it, and first-party game titles. That'd be like Spider-Man, etc. So, however, it does acknowledge a decrease in sales, as I mentioned, due to unit sales. Despite an overall increase in income from all these software sales, Sony also reports that software unit sales are down year on year, with 53.6 million units sold in Q1 compared to 586 million units during the same year. Now, that might be a 56.5 million. They just forgot the period, but if that was that small, I'd probably be short in the stock. So, kind of a little editor's note on my end. It also reports that the digital download ratio for Q1 was 80% digital versus 20% physical, compared to more of an average of 70% in the fiscal year. So even this year over year, a lot less people are buying physical games, which is intriguing. Although don't forget, we've also covered a lot of news of like Walmart and like Best Buy is completely getting rid of all the physical game things. Like that's just gone. So at this point, so obviously that probably would be going down. Like a lot of these numbers make sense. The one thing I'm more intrigued on is that the software sales are going up, because I don't feel like there's anything super big. Maybe just like the post of like Spider-Man games and everything else. I'm actually, to be fully honest, not fully sure. That actually does kind of throw me off at least a little bit. So as a result of its Q1 figures, Sony has revived its forecast for the gaming division for its financial year, for this entire year, like the upcoming fiscal financial year, and it's adjusting its sales and operating income forecast up by 3%. Tokyo-based industry consultant Dr. Sirkan Toto told VGC, given Sony is going through a rather silent 2024 software-wise, the number is actually quite solid, and they're actually better than expected. Now, obviously, if I do a doom and gloom title, maybe that'd be rough on the hardware, but it does actually seem like PlayStation's doing okay. Like, software-wise is way better, because they haven't had like a big, major banger of a game. Like, they haven't had like a Spider-Man level, Horizon level, God of War level, and that's kind of surprising. We'll also see how Astro does this holiday quarter, and I do kind of feel like the next quarter might be rough. Unless they do, as we've been expecting, a PlayStation 5 Pro, but we still have that same issue of, do we even need the PS5 Pro? What's going to make the game better for that? All of that stuff. So they're saying, for instance, you can see the positive effect on sales from the price increase for PlayStation Plus in their numbers. The big weak spot, though, however, is hardware sales. The year-on-year drop is not surprising, but it is a pretty big, significant amount, and Sony can only hope that Astro Bot or the one and other game coming out this year will make people go out and buy PlayStation 5s, which I don't think they will. I mean, maybe some people, but I don't think I've seen a lot of people be like, I can't wait to play Astro Bot. Spider-Man? Maybe. God of War? Maybe. You know, these games? Yes. Astro Bot? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But either way, it does kind of seem like the hardware numbers are slipping, although that is affecting everyone out there. And I do think at the end of the day, it seems like the PlayStation isn't going the worst. So I'll take this. I think that's a dub. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. I appreciate you all very much for watching. Check out the Target links down below for the holiday sales. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below if you would like to follow. And I appreciate you all very much for watching here in the first place.